creates a project for developing Swing application and creates a simple main.java file for you, which is nothing, just empty file with public static void main written. That's all, as you can see from the screen. Yeah. So as you can see, it's just an empty file with public static void main, right? Now, in the traditional way, people who are working with Swing applications, they'll start writing their JFrame, they'll start putting their action listeners, they'll run it, see, set the size, put it visible, so on and so forth, right? But no, as I promised, we're going to do it in the new way. So right click on the package where you want to create your window, select JFrame form, give it the right name, and say finish. And what you get now is a blank canvas on it, right? So you get a blank canvas here, a screen, where you have to lay out your various controls, okay? And on the right hand side, you see a palette with various controls. So you have various Swing controls, label, button, toggle button, checkbox, so on and so forth. So how do we design a UI? So I go to, let's say we are creating our student registration form, okay? So we select label, right, from the Swing controls palette, and we drag and drop it over the frame. Okay, and we lay it out nicely. We align it. Okay. Excuse me, can I get some light in here so that I can check out my keyboard? A bit light here. Okay. So I nicely align various controls on the palette. I can directly just change the names here. Okay. So right? So we have just the typical fields that we see in a form. Okay? And now we put various controls where we can enter details. So when I drag the text field here, notice how the guideline aligns the text inside the text field with the text in the label. Okay? So let me place two text fields here. So I say place one for age, one for name. I want to resize it, so I nicely resize it. I resize both the fields. I empty the contents here. Okay. For gender, I want to use a different control. I don't want the user to enter male or female. I want them to select. Okay. So I drag a button group here onto the form, and then I drag a couple of radio buttons. So I put a radio button here and call it male, and I'll put another radio button here, right, and name it female, right? So at any point of time, I want the user to click either male or female, right? So I need to group these two. How do I do that? I select both controls, right click, go to properties, and from the button group, I select button group 1, and that's it. And notice how a bracket appears on top of these controls, grouping them. Okay? Now for address, I need a text area so that I can allow the user to enter multi-line content. So I drag and drop it over here. And let's put a fancy control. Let's put a tree control here. Let's say I'm showing a list of various students on the right hand side in the tree page. Okay? So I just click on it, drag and drop it. Right? Now, just to make sure that this isn't a graphic application, a Photoshop application, let's put some code inside. Okay? So I put a button, I drag and drop it over here. Right? I change its name, let's call it click me. Right? Now, on the click of this button, I want to perform an operation. It could be new, record, save, or whatever. Right? You get the point. But okay, NetBeans is intelligent, but no IDE can be intelligent enough to understand what the user wants it to do on the click of a button, right? So that's something you have to tell, right? You have to provide. So that's where we see the code. So what I want to do is I want to add an action. So I right click, I select event, action, action performed, and click on it. So the moment I do it, it takes me to my source code editor. So that's when you actually get to see the code and write the code. Okay? So what I'm going to do here, okay, is display a message. So I use the class called JOptionPane. Now, for students here who don't know yet much about Java, you don't have to panic. Why? Because in order to develop Java applications, it doesn't mean that you have to pick up a book, study for a week and all, and then, get to developing applications. No. When you develop with NetBeans, just remember the basic or the main class names. And once you use it, for example, in this case, I use JOptionPane. The moment I put a dot, it shows the various methods that are present in that particular class. And when you select a method, it gives the help that says what are the various parameters that a method expects, and what are the other things, and what is it that the method returns. So based on that, so I'll select a method here. I specify the parameters, and I say hi to whatever details I provided in my text field. Okay? So let's say I'm pretty much done with the simple application. So how do I execute it? Okay. So it seems today is going to be a day of change. We change the room. Now we're going to change the projector. We change the microphone. So change is good. Change is good. The entire America is looking for a change. Right? So change is good. So just be here for a couple of minutes. I think it should be there.